is Step 1 with Freddie Wilson. Welcome to another episode of Step 1. I am Freddie Wilson. As a reminder, you can find every episode of Step 1 on Spotify and YouTube. And if you want to see more Step 1, give me a follow on Instagram at Step 1 with Freddie Wilson and Twitter at Step 1 Podcasts. Got a great show for you today. My good friend Seth Issacson is coming back to the show. Discuss that great win for the Oregon Ducks at the Big House. He was there. He is mad I didn't show up. I was invited. We'll get into that later. We also got a wild weekend of college football to recap. We got the NFL trade deadline. We got another coach firing. All right, let's ride. All right, if you watched the show last week, I did say during my college football preview that although there weren't a ton of games that on paper seemed fun, that this could be a chaotic weekend. And I'm here to say I was absolutely right. It all started on Saturday in Happy Valley, where James Franklin and Penn State, they still can't beat Ohio State. Penn State started off well. They got a big pick six, and they were up 10-0. It looked like maybe this was the year. Again, I stand by my previous rant. I think I've ranted about this constantly throughout the season. This should have been a whiteout game. Beaver Stadium looks a lot smaller during the day, just saying. Penn State's offense couldn't do anything, and Ohio State was able to get a big win. All right, despite my take that Duke was going to beat Miami, the Hurricanes were able to weather the storm and stay undefeated. I still think Miami's going to lose a game, but that window is shortening, and they might go undefeated for ACC play, but ACC championship might be a different story. Just saying. Ole Miss had a monster day on offense as they hope to find a way to stay relevant in the playoff picture. Vanderbilt is now bowl eligible. That's right. It's the first week of November, and Vanderbilt is playing meaningful football. Moving the afternoon, Iowa State goes down after one of the worst field goal attempts in history. Iowa State still has a shot at winning the Big 12, but this was a very winnable game. Also in the Big 12, Kansas State goes down to Houston. Kansas State was playing some good football, but in the landscape of the playoff, the Big 12 might at best get two, maybe three teams in the playoff, and this really, really hurts Kansas State's chances of getting in. Moving to the SEC, Florida gave Georgia a run for their money in the world's largest outdoor cocktail party. Florida's defense was good, but their offense couldn't do much once their quarterback was carted off the field. I think this game shows Georgia, while they're still a good team, it's looking a little more human for the Bulldogs than the past few years. Again, I don't see who could beat Georgia. We'll get into the Ole Miss game later, but I think they are not as good as they used to be. All right, there are cracks in the system. Moving into the Big Ten, Indiana is still undefeated and is tied for the most amount of wins in program history, and they don't seem to be slowing down. This was the first game where there was some adversity, and they were still found a way to dominate. They're looking like a good football team going down the home stretch. And, of course, we're going to talk about the Ducks dominating Michigan. Michigan's struggling. They don't have a quarterback. They don't seem to have a strong defense either. Oregon was firing on all cylinders and was able to get a big win at the Big House. Moving into Saturday night, we had two big upsets. Clemson lost at home to Louisville. Clemson was looking like a team that was going to walk for the ACC, but Louisville is frisky, and they came out to play, and they dominated the Tigers. We also saw Texas A&M, after a big win against LSU, they go to South Carolina and get absolutely lit up by the Gamecocks. South Carolina is not a bad team. They just have had some bad luck this season. They were in it with Alabama. They were in it with LSU. A couple things didn't go their way. But this game is what has established hope for the program. And now, if you're a South Carolina fan who happens to be watching this podcast, first of all, hi, welcome. Also, I think we both know that hope and South Carolina are a bad marriage. Yes, this season could end well, but next year your dreams will be crushed once again, because that is what it's like being a South Carolina football fan. Sticking to the SEC, Tennessee had to fight hard to beat Kentucky. They are a very good team, but it's not an easy schedule for the Volunteers coming up. And finally, we have a team from Texas still dominating the Atlantic Coast Conference. SMU dominated undefeated Pittsburgh. SMU is looking like a strong ACC contender. Their only loss was to BYU. That's out of conference. They're looking really good. Um, it would be again, it'll be wild if a team from Texas wins their Atlantic Coast Conference and their inaugural season in this conference. But again, this is why we love college football. Anything can happen. Moving to the NFL, the New York Jets got a rare win on Thursday against the Texans. The Jets played arguably one of the worst halves of football this season, but they regrouped. They came out strong in the second half, and the Texans offense couldn't really do much. They are short on receivers, so we'll give them that. I don't think the Jets are good. They just got lucky on this game. All right, they're going to win a couple games, I guess. Moving into Sunday, the Saints lost yet again, so they have fired Dennis Allen. It just gets from bad from worse. Bad to worse for the Saints. A team that started off 2-0, let's not forget. They haven't found a magic since, and the injuries just keep piling up. We're really hoping Chris Olave is okay. That was a really bad moment and a bad hit, and it happens in football, but it's unfortunate. The Commanders keep rolling with a win against the Giants, and Daniel Jones actually threw a touchdown at MetLife for the first time in a long time. The Bills got a hard win against the Dolphins, and if they keep winning, it is possible they could secure the division and a playoff berth this month, meaning December football would be a breeze for them. The Browns are still bad, even with Jameis at the helm. The Chargers absolutely dominate them. The Patriots are still bad, and the Titans were able to get a rare win. The Cowboys fell to the Falcons, and Dak Prescott is injured and will be out for a while. So, like some other teams in the NFL, it's just getting worse for the Cowboys. And maybe this will be another opportunity for Trey Lance, but he was never that good. So the Cowboys are not really going to go anywhere this season. They're going to continue to get worse. Again, there's talk about Cooper Rush playing. There's talk about maybe Cooper Rush and Trey Lance sharing time. Who knows? It's just not going well for the Cowboys. Joe Burrow had a monster game against the Raiders, throwing for 5 touchdowns. Again, I'm still optimistic about the Bengals. They are not out of the picture yet. It's a long season. If they can play like this against good teams, you're not going to want to play them in December and January. And the Ravens got a monster win as the Broncos couldn't do much of anything against a strong Ravens defense. Moving in the afternoon, the Cardinals kept rolling with a win against the Bears. The Cardinals are shaping up to be an actual NFC West contender. With the way the Niners are playing and other teams not being that good, the Cardinals shockingly might be a contender. Saquon Barkley not only ran all over the Jaguars, but he also jumped backwards against the Jaguars. Dude's a human highlight reel. How do you do a 360 hurdle, land, and then keep running? Mind blowing. And of course, we got to talk about the Packers. Look, I will be the first to say the Lions are a good football team. Jordan Love is not 100%, but Jordan Love needs to stop making dumb interceptions every game. I still think he's a good player. It's only his second season starting, but at some point he needs to stop hurting the team by trying to make something out of nothing. The Lions, on the other hand, are looking like a Super Bowl contender. Offense can't be stopped. I know, it wasn't as bad as other games. Like, they only scored 24 points. One of them was a pick six. So that makes me feel a little better, at least like they're human. Like, they weren't breaking out all the trick plays, but when the Lions want to score, they can. And that's exactly what they did. Moving into Sunday night, the Colts couldn't get a spark from Joe Flacco as they fall to the Vikings. The Colts are in a weird spot where they are a good quarterback away from being good. Joe Flacco, I think, is a decent quarterback, but he's also 39 years old and a little slow. Anthony Richardson is inexperienced, and I do think they are giving up on him too quickly, but it's such a winnable division. You got to go for it. And if Joe Flacco is their guy, I feel like you don't want to waste a season developing Anthony Richardson when you have an opportunity, to play meaningful football. Moving into Monday night, the Chiefs found a way yet again to win a game. The Buccaneers should have gone for 2 when they scored with 30 seconds left. I know they might not make it, but this is an opportunity to beat the Kansas City Chiefs and to squander that opportunity. It's just unfortunate. The game essentially came down to a coin flip, and Baker Mayfield knew it, but he should just always pick heads over tails. He went with tails. Chiefs won the coin toss, and again, change the NFL playoff rules, or not playoff rules, NFL overtime rules, but they haven't, only for the playoffs, and then it gets confusing for the playoffs. Let's just make it like college. It's better. Great win for the Chiefs. They're still undefeated. All right, before we get to our interview, let's recap the NFL trade deadline. Not any crazy big names, but the big story is players actually wanted to get traded to the Washington Commanders, which is a sentence that has never been said. The Cowboys gave up more for Jonathan Mingo than the Chiefs gave up for DeAndre Hopkins. The Steelers got Mike Williams, which I think will help Russell Wilson. The Ravens got Tre'Davious White, who I think will work well for them. So again, not any huge names, but I felt like we needed to do a recap. And now let's get to my interview with Seth Issacson. All right, today we welcome on a reoccurring guest,
Go.
Michigan super fan, Seth
Well,
Issacson.
Michigan fan. Let's go with Michigan fan.
Okay, maybe we'll say Nadav as our super fan.
Okay.
You're not the only Michigan fan on this podcast.
Very good.
I will say before we get started, last time we had you on, a lot of people really seem to like you.
Go.
It's out of all the people we've had on, I'm not saying like you're my favorite guest, but you're the one who's definitely been commented in a positive manner.
I'll take it,
The ladies dig you. What can I say?
It's not been my experience, but okay.
Well, my few female fans seem to be intrigued. Anyways, let's talk about what happened over the weekend. Oregon, Michigan. I had a great weekend. I don't know about you.
Yeah, I'll be honest, it was closer than I expected.
All right.
I like
You had I wouldn't say you ever had a chance, but you had an opportunity to make it interesting.
I agree. It never felt embarrassing, which I was
Mm.
I was worried the game would feel embarrassing. It took like until basically the last 6 minutes of the game for it to really feel over.
When everyone started
Um,
leaving.
yeah, I mean, I was one of those people. Um,
You know,
I will
Dan
say,
Lannon called a timeout. Like he manifested this. He's like, "We're gonna call a timeout, and you're gonna look up, and you're gonna see empty stands when we've won." The whole theme of the week was Gladiator. By the way,
yeah, yeah. I mean, in our defense, the fans' collective defense, getting out of that stadium sucks.
is it
Um,
getting out of the same, or is it for traffic, or both?
so I mean, if you're a student and you drive to the stadium, you must have some problem. Like
Or
it
you're
does
tailgating?
no, but like what you do when you're tailgating is you just like you bring one car and then you sort of like go back for it later.
Yeah.
Or like maybe you have one car leave.
All
I
right.
like
It's. I mean, I've seen a big house. I've never been. It's pretty close to campus, right?
yeah, it's like a 2 mile walk from where I live, which is sort of on the northern half of it's like a mile and a half from downtown.
So it's a walking type thing
Oh
situation.
yeah. I mean walking to the games is so fun because like you start downtown and then it's like I like to compare it to The Walking Dead when those like scenes in Atlanta when there's just like endless people, except
Yeah,
for instead of zombies, they're all Michigan fans yelling "fuck Ohio."
pretty much. Yeah. What's the walk like back when they lose a game? Because I've only had to do that at Oregon once. No big deal. And that was my
It's
first game ever.
it's just a little quiet, but it's not like
It was dead. The one time I did it, it was dead silent. To be fair, it was my
I
first
haven't
Ducks game,
I
and we were up
haven't done it
24-7.
during an embarrassing loss.
Oh, I've
Like
done it. Our first loss, the only one of two home losses I've seen at Oregon, the one I was at. We were up 24-7 to Stanford. Everything was going our way. We blow the game in overtime. It was a dead silent walk back. It was very
hmm,
grim.
I guess you guys were losing to Stanford in dramatic fashion before it was cool.
I mean, sure, but this is when Stanford was still good. This is when
Before
like,
before prime time made it the thing to do.
yeah, but again, this is when Stanford was still like actually like a real team. Now
Yeah.
there's no. It's Stanford is a whole thing.
Yeah,
The ACC Stanford is not going well.
no. But I mean Michigan is a disaster, obviously. Like you can't throw the
Is it a
ball.
disaster or is it a rebuilding year?
It's a rebuilding year where we don't have any quarterback that's showing hope. Right?
Because
Like
Alex Orgy was never going to be the guy.
no, and I think he's a good weapon to have on the team. I think he would just be a better like Taysom Hill guy
Yeah, like
who
what? He's a running back who happens to play quarterback essentially.
yeah, but he's fun to watch, but whenever he gets the ball,
He's
you know he's not throwing.
Yeah, like
Where
you don't
he
have
he
a game
almost he
manager.
almost looks uncomfortable with the ball in his hands.
I think he just likes to run and he happens to be able to throw on the side,
That's what
kind
I'm
of.
saying. Like I think he's fun to watch because of that. But I mean, weeks maybe 1 through 3, there was some like we sort of got away with the fact that we couldn't throw the ball at all. And then the entire country picked up on it and it stopped
Also, the
working.
defense is not what it was last year.
No, but I think the defense is pretty respectable.
It's not the worst defense ever. Like you're gonna win. You've won some games, but
Yeah,
it,
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 it
it just
can't
comes
hold.
down to like we can't throw the ball
It can't
whenever.
hold up forever.
Yeah.
And last year you were just running the ball, but you were running the ball really well. But
And
you
I
also,
actually think, yeah, I think against Oregon, and this is a low bar, and I'm not saying it was a
Mhm.
good pass game, but we had a couple completions here and there,
Okay,
which is about the bar that I've set is anything more than like -5 passing yards is really good.
all
And I
right.
think we were at almost like 100.
I mean, I'm pretty sure. I imagine Dylan Gabriel had like 100 in the first quarter.
No,
I
I
feel like
know. Again, I'm not saying, let me check what the stats were.
he's Dylan Gabriel. I mean, still think my pick is going to be Ashton Genty for the Heisman. It's not Travis Hunter. I think Dylan Gabriel will be there, but I think Ashton Genty, just the numbers he's putting
Let's
up, like
see.
you can't beat that. And I want a running back to win.
Yeah,
Even better, like a non-power five running back to win. Like,
let's see. So Michigan had, yeah, 165 yards of passing offense.
all right,
So I mean, it's nothing to write home about, but it's
but
like it was more passing than rushing
you
yards
can
for.
move, you can build it going forward. And
Yeah,
I mean,
I don't
what
know
are
if
you
we
at?
have the guy
Four? What
yet.
do you at? 4 wins? Are you going to get a bowl game this year? Do
No,
you
we're five
have?
and four.
Are you 5-4? All right, you have a one more win. You can get a win in, right? You'll go bowling.
I don't know if we're gonna. Oh, we could win. I mean, we'll beat Northwestern.
All
I
right,
think.
are you going to beat Ohio State?
No, no way.
I don't
There's
know,
no
man.
chance. Ohio State's too damn good.
They are pretty good. It's going to
They
be.
got like every great recruit this year.
I will say I have not been in. Well, I think Will Howard's a good quarterback. I have not been impressed. Like I'm not sold on Will Howard. That's not a championship caliber quarterback they have.
Yeah, I think you're probably right. To be honest, I haven't been watching as much like non-Michigan football as
Oh, I watch
I'd
all
like
of
to.
it. You know me. I watch all of it.
Yeah, I've been watching Michigan, and I will say, and I'm sure you have experienced this, when you're at the game, you sort of like miss some of the stuff that you see on TV.
Yeah.
And so I feel like I've been having to go back and like watch the highlights to understand what happened.
Yeah, like I mean it's hard to see from, you're probably have a couple beers on you. It's a little loud at the big house.
Yeah, they sell beer at the big house now.
Yeah, because Big
Yeah.
Ten does beer
It's
now.
$14 or something for a Coors, or no, sorry. It's $14 for a different beer. A Coors is only like 12.50.
Um, Even
Yeah.
better. I don't know.
And they never
Oregon
want
it
to
was
take
like
my
9 for
ID.
cores. It was
I always
nine
have to
dollars for
argue with them
cores.
to accept my ID.
Why? Because you're from Massachusetts?
Yeah, and I like renewed it on my 20th birthday, so I still have it vertically.
Okay.
Um,
Wait, why would you renew it? Why would you renew it on your 20th birthday?
because I fell for the scam that like the real ID thing was gonna.
Fair enough, but it's still vertical to like,
Yeah, and then so
you know,
like they have a policy that they won't take vertical IDs, and so I just have to like go and ask like 4 people, and then one of them will do it.
what, they don't even look at the birthday to make sure it's legit?
No, they do. I say like I don't understand. Like nobody has a fake vertical ID.
Yeah, did I ever tell you the time where a woman thought my US issued passport card was fake? Um, so I think it was a hockey game up in Portland, Oregon. I'm 21, by the way. I'm very much legal to drink. I'm ordering one beer for myself. So they don't ever see Massachusetts IDs in Oregon. So she's like scouring it and like asking me all the questions I knew the answer to. Like, oh, when's your birthday? Like, what's your address? And I'm like,
I had someone ask me my like full zip code
oh,
once,
I don't
and
know
I'm like,
that.
who knows that?
Yeah, no one
Nobody
knows
knows
that.
that.
But then I'm like, I have another form of ID because occasionally, like, it would happen. I'm like, here's another form of ID. Doesn't look exactly like the license picture because it was taken 10 years ago, but it's
Yeah.
valid. And she's just like looking at it. She's like, is this fake? And I just want to yell at her. I'm like, why would anyone go for the effort of faking a passport card. It's only valid
Yeah,
in
the
Canada,
only
United
time
States,
I've
and
ever been
Mexico.
the only time I've ever been accused of having a fake ID, I was 19 using my real ID to buy spray paint at Lowe's, and she thought it was fake.
But it was your real ID to buy
Yeah,
spray.
of course. I was like, who gets a real ID or who gets a fake ID saying they're 19?
Yeah, that is a bold move. I don't know.
Yeah.
Half the time I never got carded in college because I looked like I was 40.
Yeah. I feel like I'm starting to expect people not to card me.
I remember there was like a time I think I was in a Walmart with my mom and like the we had a 6 pack of beer in line and the guy's like, "Ma'am, is your son 21?" Which I wasn't. I just rip off the hat. I'm like, "I'm 22," and he's like, "Yeah, you're good." I very much wasn't, but he wasn't
No.
going to question my authority. All right, we talked about Michigan football. Let's talk about your other team.
Hmm.
That's also it's a bad year for your teams.
My fantasy teams are doing pretty okay, but
How many leagues are
okay,
you in?
two.
Okay. All right. Well, we can talk about fantasy football another time.
No, let's
Let's
go to the Patriots. It's fine.
Patriots. Drake May. Thoughts.
I am super high on Drake May.
Okay. What have you seen from Drake May that makes you think he's the guy?
Okay. I'm going to say a bunch of good things and then one thing that I don't like, but I think he is like creative. He's fast. He can run the ball when he has to. He can also buy himself a ton of time and then make really impressive throws. That game tying touchdown last week, if Patrick Mahomes had made that, the entire like league would be freaking out for years. But because it's like little Drake May, it's just like, oh, here's a highlight. Like that was an
It was
insane play.
impressive. I'll give him that. It was,
And he's just like he doesn't have a very good O line. He's scrambling into space and hitting his bad receivers in the hand and like sometimes they drop it.
yeah,
And his
it's
stat
a,
line
it's
has
a
been
project.
insane despite his receivers doing nothing for him except yap to the media.
And
Right? Like
it's,
was it
it,
was it Poke who said that he has the best hands in the league and then like dropped three balls the next
I mean,
game?
I saw Poke play at Washington. He is pretty good.
I think it's bold to say that you have the best hands in the league. It was
Yeah.
either him or
It is
Douglas.
a
I don't
bold
remember.
take. But yes, you don't you could use a receiver, and again, you might get a good pick, and you're going to get a good pick in a draft, and
Yeah, my
there's
guess,
always good
or
receivers.
I would sort of almost like to see us trade down because we also need O line. But
Again,
if we
like
end up with the number one overall, like trading down would make sense to
Travis
me.
Hunter, but which position do you use Travis Hunter for? Because he's not going to play both in the NFL. That's not going to happen.
No,
Like the fact that
no.
he's doing both in college is already impressive, but like you can't just waltz in if you had felt like I'm going to play two positions on either side of the ball.
I mean,
That's
like Jabril Peppers did that in college. Also, you might
yeah, but
remember.
like
He
it's
doesn't
different.
anymore, but like
Yeah,
it. Yeah,
but like was he playing like 100 plus snaps a game?
I wasn't paying enough attention
Because
at
like
football at
Travis
that
Hunter's
point to know.
playing like 120 plus snaps a game.
I bet he's very fit.
I don't know how he does it.
Hmm.
Well, I just like don't understand like what the recovery is like how you're playing two different positions all the time, and I still think he's not going to win Heisman. Just saying, I'm an Ashton Genty guy all the way.
Yeah,
Uh,
but
got to
anyways,
get that
my
Heisman
my
going.
concern with Drake May is he seems to have recently been attending the Tua Tagovailoa School of Headfirst Running.
Oh yeah, that's not a sustainable business model.
No, it's not. And I would like him to like I like him scrambling. He already has one concussion. Let's not make it six.
Again, Joe Milton would be a great option. You have not utilized Bazooka Joe, and I'm disappointed.
I don't know if he would be a great option,
I think
Fred.
he would. Have you seen him throw a ball? Like, yeah, he might overthrow by 20 yards, but he can throw it really far.
If you need a Hail Mary guy, sure, but I don't think that's what you want on every play.
I mean, I don't know. I think it was Romo during a Jane Daniels Hail Mary who like had the idea, what if they put in Mariota? Like he said, like they should put in Marcus Mariota here because he could probably throw it farther. And then Jane Daniels proved him wrong. And the Bears couldn't play defense.
Yeah. Um, I don't know. So everyone knows that the NFL has been slowly specializing the positions, right? Maybe what we're going to see Joe Milton pioneer the Hail Mary specialist. He'll just come in and chuck it.
I mean, honestly, like it could work. Like you
And
could
like the
do a
one the two times a season you need a Hail Mary, he's your
But
guy.
it could be like a two quarterback system where like if it's Joe Milton, like you're gonna launch it and Drake May does all the other stuff.
Isn't that gonna be really easy to defend though?
Oh, it'll be 100% easy to defend. Yes, it won't work at all, but I think it'd be
No,
really
it'd
funny.
be fun. It'd be fun.
Again, I know he's not good at throwing balls 60 yards or less, but when you give him that opportunity, it's fun.
Yeah, to be honest, I didn't watch that much preseason this year.
I mean, I just
Um,
watched him a little bit in college because I tune him in Vols here and there when they're on.
yeah,
Apparently, Knoxville is now the number one college town of 2024.
they clearly don't know about Claremont.
They don't know about Claremont. They don't know
If they
about
did,
Ann Arbor, but
yeah,
Claremont.
Claremont, let's go
Uh,
team.
are there bars in Claremont?
Not that students go to for the most part.
All right, so it's just because I remember you telling me to call your college party days
Yeah, back when I was fun.
back
I
when
remember
back.
that.
What do you mean? You're still fun. Now,
Thank you,
speaking of
Freddie.
college towns, we're going up to my Oregon friends are going up to Wisconsin for Oregon, Wisconsin.
Oh, I love Madison.
No, I've actually never, despite going to Wisconsin so many times, I've never been to Madison.
Mm. Okay, well, there's
So
like a Polish place with good pierogies that you got
I
to go
mean, we're a
to.
pro pierogi podcast.
All right, well,
We've actually talked a lot about pierogies on this
really? Well,
show.
this is like the famous thing in Madison, not the only, but like
All right, we
I
might
don't
have
know
to
why.
go.
Like weirdly, every time I talk to people about Madison, this place comes up.
I did I tell you about? Do you know about the pierogi bet we had on the show that I really thought I was going to lose, but
No,
somehow. So our friend Dylan, by the way, he's the only one watching this. Shout out to Dylan. Hi, Dylan.
hi Dylan.
He's the only one who watches the show. Um,
I thought I was popular amongst your female
okay,
fans.
you know what I mean. He's the only one who consistently watches. Every once in a while, someone will tune in, but he's here every week. And
Okay.
so he was telling me like he's from San Diego. It's like you can find any food in San Diego, and I'm like, I bet you can't find pierogies. And then I
Oh,
stupidly decided that I was gonna pay him $100, and I was gonna do it if he followed through with it. That he couldn't find pierogies in San Diego, and I gave him like a timeline, and he easily could have done it because I googled pierogi San Diego.
so
There's like five different places.
of course. So Freddie, I don't love California. I lived in California for 4 years. I'm not like the California is the best. I don't like the weather. I don't like LA. But I have never lived somewhere with more consistently excellent food than Southern California.
Yeah, the food's pretty good in Southern
The
California.
food is so good. And like coming from someone who really doesn't like California, the food,
Yeah, the food's pretty
top
good.
notch.
I mean, the Mexican food is world class. It's even better than actual Mexican food.
Well, it depends on the
I know,
style.
I know. But no, like I go to Southern California to eat and to go
Yes.
to the desert. Big
Joshua
de-
Tree.
big Joshua Tree guy.
Nice.
Every time I go over, I listen to the Joshua Tree album by U2,
Excellent.
and then I laugh when that song that was in that episode of The Office comes on. The one where like he gives his dumb presentation, he plays like the streets have no names. It's supposed to be
Oh,
like his like quarterly report, and he shows like he starts blasting the streets have no names.
that's a good pull, Freddie.
It's just gets me every time. But yes, no. What do you have a favorite place in Southern California for food?
Um, okay, deep pull here.
Okay.
There's a place in Westminster, California, which it's weird because Westminster is like little Vietnam. It has a huge Vietnamese population. The Vietnamese food is excellent. But there's a place called Ikram Grill, which is just like the best. It's Turkish, and it's just like the best in the category I've ever had. I got
Wait, it's a
so
Turkish
fat.
restaurant in a Vietnamese neighborhood.
Yes.
All
And it
right.
is so good.
That is
Like
I
top notch.
a Turkish restaurant in a Vietnamese neighborhood. Yeah,
So good.
there's a lot of good food in like Boston has good food. I can tell you what does have good food. Oregon does not. Oregon's food's weird.
Boston has okay food.
Oregon's food's just like let's take a hipster take on like every culture's popular cuisine and make it hipster.
Hmm.
Like let's just like how can we make this different?
I've also found Ann Arbor to have very middling food.
I feel like we talked about the food last time. I'm pro Zingerman's.
Hmm.
You're not a Zingerman's guy.
I'm very mid on
You're
the
not a
Ottomans.
crazy Jim's Blimp. What is it? Crazy Jim's Blimpy Burger? Is that what it's
It's all
called?
right. It's all right. It's
We
just a little
talked
hype.
about it last time too.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. Do I know? Those are only two Ann Arbor restaurants I know. I've been there once, but we're
Mm.
pro Zingerman's. A good
All right.
Jewish deli is always a bonus.
Almer's is the good Jewish deli. That's what we talked about last
Okay,
time.
that's the other one. But what I mean, Michigan, are you familiar with it's spelled pasty, but they call it pasty. It's a Upper Peninsula
Yeah,
delicacy.
yeah. I've been to the UP a few times and
Or I mean, UP is an underrated part of America.
it is.
It, there, it's just a part of America no one ever thinks to go to, except for
Yeah,
people who
it's
live in
cool. It's
Michigan.
nice. It's peaceful. The pasties are just like
Um, oh,
calzones, let's be honest.
but they're good.
Yeah, they're good, but it's just a calzone.
But it's just a nice part of the country.
It is.
All right, Michigan football future, or actually no, it's not Michigan football. Do you follow Michigan basketball? I feel like you,
No.
yeah, man. My only take about Michigan basketball is I know they have a new coach, but I want to talk about Juwan Howard because I think he looks like Will Smith in a movie where Will Smith plays a basketball coach. That's my only take about Michigan basketball.
Hmm.
And the coach and Juwan Howard got fired, so that doesn't really apply anymore.
Yeah. Again, I've never been a basketball fan, sadly.
So my dad when he got his pitch from Michigan, the Fab Five, he was there
He
during the
was.
'91 season. Never went to a game.
That would have been me.
Even if you knew this like incredible thing was happening, you wouldn't maybe consider going to a game.
Oh, I'd go to one just to say that I'd been.
Yeah, like he didn't even think to do that. I think he went to one football game there in 3 years, and he went to none of the
Sure, he
Fab
was much more
Five.
productive than me.
I mean, sure, but what's it like in terms of game day in Ann Arbor? Like, what is the town just like go nuts or shut down? Like, what's it like?
Yeah, I mean it's a lot of fun. The population of the town basically doubles, right? Um, so it's a ton of people. And then as you get close to the stadium, there's just stuff going on everywhere. Everyone like there's parties everywhere. Um, it like there's a big golf course where we usually go to tailgate, and you can just like pay like $80 to park a car on the golf course. So we take my friend's truck and like a grill.
And some,
There's
I imagine there's some Coors Light cans in the mix.
yeah, yeah, you bring beer. There's a ton of people there. Like the parking lot is just no, it's not a parking lot. You just park on the golf course. It's packed. Same thing in one of the high schools in Ann Arbor. The high school sells parking spots to party. It's just like massive, massive tailgates. You go to the game with 110,000 of your best friends.
It is. It doesn't sell out every game, pretty much.
No, it doesn't sell out every game. There's like generally over 110,000. Um, it's pretty. I mean, we have like a 400 or 300 game streak of over 100,000 people. So
I mean, as you should. It's Michigan
yeah,
football. Like
yeah.
it's the biggest thing in Michigan, other than maybe the Lions, who are really good this year. Breaks my
Yeah, the Lions
heart.
are good, which is sort of sad for me because I like the Lions, but I really like talking about how Jared Goff isn't an elite quarterback, and suddenly he seems
I
a
don't
little.
think he is. I think he's just in the perfect system. They're not
Yeah, I mean,
asking. He's not.
certainly
They're
in
not asking
California he
him to
didn't
do
look
that
elite.
much. They're not
Yeah.
asking him to do much. They are making the easiest throws for him possible. There's an offense that, yes, they do all the trick plays. Yes, they do all these things. But at the end of the day, it's not that complicated for Jared.
Because like it was a bad look for him when he got traded and Stafford came in and won a Super Bowl right away.
But, and yeah, like Dan Campbell's first year didn't go great. But
But Dan Campbell is such a hero in
Dan
Michigan.
Campbell, I mean, he should be.
Like
I
you
do like
wouldn't
Dan
believe
Campbell
the because like not only is he like amazing and a coach, but he's like he resonates so much with so much of the state.
because he's built on grit.
Yeah, yeah, he's just like yeah.
Like, I kind of knew they had something like, not the first season. It was honest. Once I knew they were good, as that game against the Packers, where they did eliminate the Packers from the
Mhm.
playoffs. Like, it could have been a win and get in for them as well, but then some things didn't go their way, and they knew that. But they're still like, we can fuck up the Packers season,
Yeah. So am
and
I
I'm
the only
like,
one
they're
that
good.
thinks that the Chiefs are fake this year?
Uh, so let me see. We'll get to your Super Bowl pick later because I do that at the end of every show during the
Okay.
season. I think the Chiefs are just a good football team. I don't think They're not as good as years past, but think about it. Last year they weren't that good. They still made to the Super Bowl and won it. This year they're undefeated, and everyone thinks, oh, they're not as good. They're winning games.
They're winning games. I just yeah.
Like at the end of the day, like Patrick Mahomes is Patrick Mahomes. Like, yeah, he's not gonna win an MVP this season, but he's if you need him to make a play on third down, he's gonna make it. And there's nothing we can do about it. But like
Yeah.
I'm trying to think like there's gotta be someone's gonna beat him, it's just a question of who. Like there's 8 games left.
If they go 20-0, I'm gonna be very sad.
I don't think that's gonna happen. All right, let's just see like who they're
If they
gonna
go 19-1, however, I'll be very
all
happy.
right, they play the Bills at Buffalo, so
Oh,
they could lose
soon.
that game.
That's
Uh
that's a very losable game.
besides that, it's a pretty manageable schedule. Like, yeah. Uh it's that over Christmas game in Pittsburgh.
They could lose to the Steelers.
If they break up a double renegade in Pittsburgh, which they absolutely should for that game, you got to play renegade twice. You got to do it once in the first half, once in the second half. You got to get the fans going.
Yeah.
Uh,
Well, it
yeah,
would be weird to have to root for the Bills.
I mean, I like Josh Allen. I'm a pro Josh Allen guy.
It's
I know
true.
you're a Patriots fan, so you hate everything about the Bills.
Yeah, but it's like now that the Bills don't,
Does it feel weird that
I
you're
don't think
not
the
the
Bills are
best
ever going to
team?
win a Super Bowl. So
Does it feel weird that you're not the best team in your division anymore? Like, have you accepted that reality
yeah,
that
I've gotten
the
used to
AFC
it.
East is not your division anymore?
Yeah, the AFC Championship can no longer be called the Bill Belichick Invitational.
Like it, yeah, because you had that good like 7 year stretch where it's just like the regular season was a thing. Like you maybe lose one or two, maybe 4 games, but you're still going to make it in the
We were in the
playoffs.
AFC Championship so many years.
And like the Bills could never beat you. The Dolphins maybe would get a game, but Jets never beat you.
The Jets had like a freak win.
They had a freak win, and then Mark Sanchez was good for a win against the Patriots every year. And also, their last playoff winning quarterback was Mark Sanchez.
Is that true?
Yep, and it was against the Patriots. They
Good for
beat
them.
they beat the 14-2 Patriots. And then I think they lost like the Steelers, and then the Steelers lost the
I just
Packers.
remember there was a stretch where it sort of felt like the Jets could sneak one in on us.
There was like early late 2000s, like 2009, 2010. That's kind of where they were like they were never good. They were just still the same old Jets, but they could be the Patriots once a year. Like if they were to go to the Meadowlands, yeah. Now I know the Jets got one this year, but the Jets are still the Jets. I don't care what happened in that game in Houston. They're the Jets.
Yeah.
Like they have more. They got lucky. I don't think they're good, and I still think the Bills are gonna could win a Super Bowl because how cool would that be? I know you hate the Buffalo Bills, but how cool would it be
It's
if they
not that I
did?
hate the Bills, it's that I don't want them to win. Like I think
Uh,
it's hilarious that they're 0-4 in the Super Bowl.
and yeah, no, four falls in Buffalo was rough.
So I guess like that. Well, I'm not going to say this because then I'm going to ruin the ending segment of your show. So I'll hold this off until
Uh,
later.
I still think it like there's nothing. There's not too many teams. Like I mean, there's a few teams that haven't won. Like Detroit pains me to say it. It would be cool to see them win. As much as I would hate it, it would be cool because it's never happened. And
Yeah, it's obviously what I'm rooting for, right?
it's same with Buffalo. Like it's just like it's a city that revolves around that team. There's we're pro Buffalo, but there's not much going on there.
That is
There's uh,
true.
there's Niagara Falls.
Which, by the way, if you go to Niagara and Buffalo, it's a ripoff. You got to go to the Canadian side.
I mean, I had a good time. How's the Canadian side differ? I've been to the
Well,
New
it's just
York
because
side.
Niagara is sort of shaped like this,
Yeah.
and so on the Canadian side you can see the main falls. On the American side, you can really only see
I
a
mean,
bit of
I
it.
just took I just took the Maid of a Mess. I went right in the thick of it.
Oh, okay, that works. Yeah,
We
I just
went
stood.
for
I
it.
just stood on the American side.
Oh no, we went all in. We got all up in that waterfall
Yeah,
or
no, I was
several
just
waterfalls.
driving cross country, and we like when past the sign, like Niagara Falls, this exit. And we're like, okay.
It is pretty cool.
It
Also
is.
Duff's Famous Wings. Big Duff's Famous Wings guy.
I think the food. Oh no, we then stopped in Erie, Pennsylvania for lunch.
Yeah,
And at this like little rundown barbecue place had like some of
sounds.
the best barbecue I've ever had.
Those are the places you got to go to. Best
Including
part.
like got the brisket, whatever, and then they had these vegan wings that were insultingly good.
What were the vegan wings based on? Like,
I don't know, but they were really good. Also, my iPad is dying despite being plugged in, so
oof. All right. So do we have to hurry this up potentially?
we might have to. I'm at
All right.
2%. I started
Okay.
this show at 7.
All right. And your iPad's plugged in.
It is. I don't think it's to a very good charger though.
Okay. Well then we'll get your Super Bowl picks in. Who do you think? If you come back on during the season, by the way, you have a chance to mulligan it. I will tell you mine, which I have not mulliganed. My pick at the start of the season was Packers over Bengals. It's not the best pick. I'm sticking with it.
All right, I'm taking
Hold on, let me write
Lions
this down.
over Bills.
Lions over Bills. You're the
Bills going
first
0 and
person.
5.
All right. You're the first person who's like definitively like knew their answer. Like you didn't have to think about it. You just knew Lions over
Well, the
Bills.
problem is that I think the Lions will find a way to choke. I just love the idea that the Bills could lose in another Super Bowl.
You're
Like
actually the
Bills
first person.
fans might just all like I don't know. I cannot imagine how sad Buffalo as a city would be the day after they went 0 and 5.
So you're not our first person to guess Lions, but you are the first person to guess Lions over Bills.
All right.
So no one has
Is
the
there a
Bills
prize
winning.
pool? What do I win?
I have not decided yet how what I'm gonna do. If someone A gets it or B like who's the closest. I just like kind of taking a poll, seeing what people are feeling.
All right.
Like some people are really methodical, some people are like just throw out a random team.
No, this is a what I want to see pick. I want to see the Lions win and I want to see the Bills lose.
I mean,
It's that
I think
simple.
it would be an objectively fun game. And Jared Goff would fuck it up though.
No, but I want the Bills to like never have a chance. Like I want it to be like 48 nothing.
You
I want
want
it
it
to
to
be
be
the
you
most
want it to be where
insulting loss. I
The
want
Lions are like
maximum hurt to
running
the
trick
Bills.
plays like halfway through the game because they're so
Yeah.
bored.
I want them like onside kicking despite it being 36 nothing.
I, I, I want the Lions to break out of Statue of Liberty.
Yeah, I want them to do all sorts of goofy stuff because they're already up by whatever in the Super
I'm
Bowl
just
and
I'm just trying to
you
figure out
gotta
what
give a
else,
shit.
what can they do? Because there's just so many cool plays they've run, and I'm just
Punt
trying to
on
figure out
first down. Go for it.
figure out how to punt on first down and then catch it.
Mm.
Because that could work. What if Jared does a pooch punt for a
Mm.
touchdown? Uh, I'm trying to think. Like they're gonna figure something out because apparently Ben Johnson is open to every idea he's given. There is no
Punt on first
idea
down.
he is afraid of punt on first down.
The Patriots punted on third. The Patriots had Brady punt on third a couple times.
Didn't they have the Doug Flutie pooch kick? That was a
They had
long
the
time
Doug
ago.
Flutie. Yeah, that was
Like
like his
extra,
last play in the game. They did a drop kick.
yeah, because they want to give good old Flutie,
They just
Boston, Boston
yeah.
College legend,
So he's the most recent drop kick in the NFL.
because it's Doug Flutie, who's I've met
Yeah,
him. I've met him once. Like the guy, like
yeah,
is still a machine. I
I
love how
believe
we
it.
just like he's probably 60 and he's just like, yeah, like I just play hockey now. Like it doesn't hurt my bones as much. So I play a lot of hockey. I'm like
That's the dream.
hockey's still a pretty exhausting sport, but
It's exhausting, but it's not like there aren't actually that many injuries.
I know it's just tiring.
Mhm.
There's a reason why they only play 20 minutes a game for an hour long game.
I mean, it's sprints, right?
I yeah, I know. I'm not discrediting hockey's a very physically demanding sport.
Yeah,
We never talk about it.
I used to be bad at hockey back in my day.
I thought you played.
I did.
Yeah, we never really talk
Well,
about
I was like
hockey.
really good on the B or the C team,
Yeah.
so
We
that
never
was
really
me.
talk about hockey on this podcast, but since you know a little bit about it, like,
I
do you
haven't
have
watched hockey in like 10 years, really.
okay then. I was just gonna say Bruins thoughts.
I couldn't tell you anything.
Alrighty. I think they'll make the playoffs and they'll lose in seven to like some scrub team.
All right.
All right. Seth, this has been awesome. We always love having you
Have
on here.
fun.
All right. Go Ducks.
Go
All
Blue.
right. See you later. With 4 weeks left in the regular season, we got some college football games that could have huge ramifications. I will admit, it's not a great slot of games for a noon kickoff. That's why I will be at the Boston College game against Syracuse. That's right. When we can be, we are a Boston College football podcast. I'm really glad they're not like my regular team because that sounds like a terrible lifestyle. But you know what? Tickets are cheap. It could be a good game. Maybe BC will beat someone other than Florida State in the ACC. Maybe, maybe. So we'll report back. But in the afternoon, we got some big games. It all starts with Georgia heading down to Oxford to take on Ole Miss. Now, Georgia is no stranger to big games, and they have had, with the exception of Florida, probably the toughest schedule. This is another big test. Ole Miss has a great offense, but Georgia prides themselves on defense. I think this game's going to come down to whose defense makes that big play. Georgia's offense isn't fantastic, and Carson Beck is prone to throwing interceptions. So the question is, can the defense stop Jackson Dart and Ole Miss? I think this is going to be a fun game. I also think it's going to be a lot closer. Like Georgia usually blows out Ole Miss. I don't think that's going to happen this time. Like I really do think, especially being in Oxford, I think Georgia's going to have a run for their money. We'll see what happens, but I am looking forward to this game. All the Georgia games the rest of the season, well, that's not true. The next 2 weeks are going to be fun. We will see if Indiana can get to 10 wins this season as they take on Michigan. Now, Michigan isn't good, but if they want to ruin someone's season, this is a great opportunity to do it. I never thought we would be talking about Michigan trying to ruin someone's season and that team being Indiana, but that is where we are at because the tides have turned. Usually this would not be a notable game. Usually Michigan would win this one, but tables have turned. Again, this could be a trap game for Indiana, which is a sentence I never thought I was ever going to say. They might be thinking about Ohio State. They got to take it 1 week at a time. Like, don't overlook Michigan. Still do what you need to do, all right? But again, I still think Indiana's going to win. We also have a game I did not anticipate talking about with South Carolina and Vanderbilt. Both teams are on the rise and are frisky. So it's actually a very exciting game because both teams play hard and are just fun to watch. Moving into Saturday night, we got a big one. LSU and Alabama. Both teams need to win if they want any chance of making a playoff. LSU on a Saturday night is a beautiful jungle and hard place to win. So Alabama needs to show they can win a big road game. Still have my doubts about LSU, but I think they will come out swinging on Saturday night down in Death Valley. We also got the Penn State whiteout. Again, I think I said this top of the show. I've expressed my disapproval of them not using it for Ohio State. That being said, it's still one of the greatest spectacles in all of college football, and Happy Valley is going to be electric. Not to mention, Penn State needs a rebound win, and this game will provide just that. We also get to see Boise State and Ashton Jeanty in prime time. Ashton Jeanty is unbelievable. And finally, all of America will get to see what he could do at a reasonable hour. Usually, with Boise State, he's on at like 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, playing until like 1 in the morning. No, you got an 8 o'clock time slot for Ashton Jeanty. You're going to see what this guy can do because I've seen it. I saw him absolutely run all over Oregon. We got lucky we won that game. I still think, in my opinion, Ashton Jeanty, it pains me to say it. It's not going to be Travis Hunter. I would love it for me, Dylan Gabriel. Ashton Jeanty is my Heisman pick. All right, I'm running with that. As for the Oregon Ducks, we are playing our first ever game against the University of Maryland. Maryland's not playing great, but again, they got nothing to lose. So I think they will put up a good fight. I'm not nervous, but I'm just saying Maryland could have like a couple explosive plays up their sleeves. And finally, we have BYU versus Utah. Utah is banged up. They're all injured. BYU's playing really well. But a home game in Utah, especially at night, this is a night game. It's a hard environment to win. And it's a big rivalry game. And it'll be a good game. And hopefully my man, Jake Retzlaff, the BYU Jew, will get the win. And also, this is the first time I think these two teams have duked it out in the same conference. So this has some conference ramifications as well, not just state pride. Moving to the NFL, we got an exciting weekend of football. It all starts Thursday with the Bengals and Ravens. The Bengals need to show they can beat a good team. And what better way to do that than beat your division rival in what is one of the harder divisions in this league? The Ravens want to keep rolling after a monster win, so this Could be a fun game. I don't think the Bengals defense is good enough to combat the 1-2 punch of Lamar Jackson, Derrick Henry, but I think it could be an offensive shootout. So that'll be fun. Moving into Sunday, we got our first Germany game. And I think I said this long before the season started when I was previewing the season that this game, November, well, will be like November 10th or something. I said this game will suck. I'm right. This game is going to suck. Panthers and Giants. I can already tell you, I'm not waking up to watch this game. The fact that the NFL thought this was a good idea for the great people in Germany, who, as I mentioned many times, actually like football. This is not a foreign concept of them. Especially, I think the game's in Munich, but like you go to Frankfurt and Munich too, they like American football. Like it is genuinely popular there. And they know the Panthers and Giants are terrible. I don't know why the NFL's thinking, you know what? Like let's give a good show and send Bryce Young. Maybe you'll get Andy Dalton, but even then, like not that great. And Daniel Jones. No, this is bad marketing for the NFL. If you want to grow the game, don't send your two worst teams to Germany. Moving to the early afternoon, we have a battle of rookie quarterbacks with Drake May and Caleb Williams. Both teams could use a win, but neither team is really playing well right now. So this is going to be a hard game to watch. I think, I think the Bears defense definitely has the edge, but it's going to be a rough game. We also got a big NFC matchup with the 49ers and Buccaneers. Both teams have high aspirations. Both teams are playing average football, but Christian McCaffrey's allegedly playing this weekend. So that is something to get excited about. We got a fun game with the Steelers and Chiefs. The Steelers are playing well with Russell Wilson. And now that he has Mike Williams, that gives him maybe another weapon on offense. And we also have an AFC West battle with the Broncos and Chiefs. Broncos offense is not great. Again, we're a Bo Nix podcast. It just hasn't come to fruition yet, but just you wait. But the question is, can their defense stop Patrick Mahomes? They couldn't stop the Ravens. I don't see them stopping the Chiefs either. I think the Chiefs are going to actually get a blowout win and not just another one-score game. I actually do think the Chiefs are finally going to get like, I don't want to say statement win because they keep on winning, but like a statement for them. Moving into the afternoon, we have Eagles and Cowboys. Always a fun game, but the Cowboys are missing Dak Prescott, so I don't think it's going to be a competitive game this go around. There are only 3 afternoon games, and none of them are very good. Jets and Cardinals, the Cardinals are frisky. The Jets are not that great. Could be a fun game. I imagine if the Cardinals will run all over the Jets. We have Chargers and Titans. Not exciting. The Titans are just bad. I know the Chargers got a big win, albeit against the Browns, so I expect the Chargers to roll over Titans. They tend to be pretty good against bad teams. Moving into Sunday night, we have a fun one with the Texans and Lions. The Lions offense is unstoppable. The way the Texans have been playing on offense, they won't keep up. So I won't be surprised we see some wild trick plays by Lions just because they're bored. That's what they do. They get bored, and then Ben Johnson has this crazy idea, and then they do it, and then it works. That's the best part. And on Monday night, we have Dolphins and Rams. The Dolphins are still struggling, even with Tua back in their offense. It's just not the same as it was last year. The Rams, on the other hand, they're getting guys back from injury. They're looking to get a much needed win. I think they could still be competitive in the NFC West. It is a winnable division. That's our show for this week. Thank you so much for watching. We will be back next week. Big Fred, over and out.